Good afternoon, and congratulations, graduates. It is my pleasure to invite our medalist, Deborah Loewenberg Ball, to join us at the podium, please. Deborah Loewenberg Ball, you are not alone in arguing that the conversation about teacher preparation must bridge knowledge and practice. As a scholar and leader, you stand apart, however, in putting teacher preparation and development on an equal footing with that of medicine, the law, and other highly skilled professions. As Dean of the University of Michigan School of Education, Chair of the Spencer Foundation Board of Trustees, member of the National Science Board, among other positions, you have been among our nation's leading voices for improving teaching and learning. At the same time, your influence and impact on real-world classrooms stem from your 17 years as an elementary school teacher. You signaled your commitment to your craft and your students in your doctoral dissertation, which was fittingly titled Knowledge and Reasoning in Mathematical Pedagogy, examining what prospective teachers bring to teacher education. You were among the first to recognize that those teaching mathematics to young children require a unique base of knowledge. In subsequent research that has become a guidepost for generations of educators, you have defined what that knowledge should consist of and how to measure it through pioneering studies of actual classrooms and the problems that arise each day for teachers and students. You built on these findings in chairing the landmark 2003 report of the RAND Mathematics Study Panel, which produced a blueprint for raising mathematical proficiency and eliminating achievement gaps. In another stroke of innovative genius, you founded TeachingWorks, a unique organization based at the University of Michigan that has identified a set of specific skills essential to working in the classroom and created new ways to evaluate them. Most recently, TeachingWorks has produced a widely acclaimed comprehensive curriculum that guides teachers from initial training through early career.
Deborah Loewenberg Ball, policy reforms to our education system come and go. But nothing can supersede the importance of what goes on between teachers and their students. For your loving and painstaking attention to that relationship, for your leadership in connecting teachers with the knowledge they need to excel in their jobs, and for your scholarship and statecraft in elevating the teaching profession, we are proud to present you with the Teachers College Medal for Distinguished Service.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much, President Furman and Professor Walker and Provost James. I'm truly humbled to have my work recognized in such a really special way. Given the long history of Teachers College and the remarkable commitment that TC alumni have made to education, it's really, truly an amazing honor for me, honestly. But actually, I'm especially thrilled to be celebrating with you graduates. You have expertise and perspectives that really could make a difference in the coming years. You have experience and identities that are potent resources, and today you're becoming alumni of an institution with a long tradition that we all admire of leadership, scholarship, teaching, practice, and political activism. I'm not overstating anything when I say our country and our world needs you. So I actually have a very specific ask of all of you graduates today. And this ask pertains to you no matter what exactly your field is. So I want you to listen up because this is something I really want you to go out and remember. I really could talk with you about what I hope you will do to build better programs out there, or how I expect you to lobby for more just and fair policies, or what I would like you to do to advance the cause of justice in our country and around the globe. And actually, I do actually hope and expect all of those things of you as well. But there's a very specific thing that I want you to remember and that I want you to act upon in everything that you do going forward. Do you know what it is? That one thing is the power of teaching. The power that skillful teaching can contribute to a young person's development, but actually also the effect that unprofessional and unskilled teaching can have on a young person's life chances. The overlooked and underappreciated power of what happens inside our nation's almost 3 million classrooms every day. In this country, we have ignored the power of teaching through our action and through our inaction. Take, for example, when Black teachers lost their jobs in the wake of Brown versus Board of Education, this devastation to the profession and to Black communities went publicly astonishingly unremarked. When the gap between who the nation's youth are and who makes up the profession widened shamefully, we have been complicit. When the data make plain the inequitable distribution and support of good teaching between privileged families and those with less privilege and power, we have spoken of other matters and overlooked the denial of professional teaching to all our youth. When ignorant myths about what it takes to be a good teacher persist, we often don't speak up. When the notion persists that teaching can be learned on the job, we've often smiled and nodded, even those of us who have taught in the classroom, and we ignore what is in effect our collective lack of care for the young people in these novices' classrooms. And finally, when the dangerous pervasiveness of allowing people to take responsibility for our children's learning without demonstrating that they have the knowledge, skills, mindsets, and orientations to do that responsibly, we have somehow acquiesced. Today, there are 74 million people in the United States alone under the age of 18. In 2035, just 20 short years from today, they will be our nation's adults. They will be the next generation. They will be policy analysts, engineers, market researchers, artists, designers, and so on. When I read the notebooks of my 10-year-olds in my math class every summer, I imagine them, Parker, Dante, DeMarcus, and Gabby, as future inventors and writers. When I watch Efren and Elena listen and explain their ideas to their classmates, I see teachers and future cancer researchers. My mind fast forwards and I picture them, Zion, Vershawn, Brianne, and Lakia, working as counselors, running for office, designing buildings. I imagine them voting, building communities, raising families, and volunteering in the community. Schools are the single institution that our society establishes to serve every single individual. But you know very well that our schools all too often do not accomplish this mission. Instead, our schools all too often reproduce inequality and push youth out to the margins. One observer watching Vershawn and Dejan in my class a couple of summers ago commented in his school, they would be in the principal's office instead of solving complex math problems and presenting their ideas to their classmates. Another observer was so distracted by Rashante stretching his sweatshirt arms over his hands that he never even noticed how elegantly Rashante proved that the problem they were trying to solve had no solution. It is in these interactions at this level that structural bias and injustice is manifest. But we too often are inattentive. Our schools serve white children and underserved black and brown. They too often measure more than educate and demand compliance more than imagination. We do not support all our young people for a fruitful adult life in this country, not even close. So let's look at some data. Only 11% of adults who identify as Latino or Hispanic in the United States hold a college degree by age 29. Although 3/4 of children from families in the top income quartile complete college by age 24, which, by the way, is way up from the 40% of those young people who completed college equivalently in 1970. But what about the children in the lowest income quartile? They complete college at a rate of about 9%, only up 2 percentage points since 1970. Only half of the American males graduate from high school in this country, and 1 in 3 is likely to be incarcerated in his lifetime. The media have recently been far more explicit about this pattern of injustice for black men, but this is not new. And there is more. Low-income students are less likely to attend high schools that offer advanced placement classes, and black students who do attend schools with AP classes are more likely to attend schools with only a few AP offerings. Black students are also less likely to take AP classes, and one reason, a major reason, has to do with the compounded effect of their elementary and middle school opportunities that bring them underprepared to high school. I don't know whether you know this, but students in low-income and high-minority communities are twice as likely as their white and middle-class counterparts to have teachers teaching math and science who are unprepared to teach that subject. These data and many more that you know well that I could share with you tell a shameful story of inequality, discrimination, and injustice. Of those 74 million young people who, like each one of you, have amazing things to contribute to our society, if we keep going as we have been, many will never develop their potential or reach their goals. That is a terrible cost to them and to all of us. This is not the American dream. There are many, many factors that shape this profound social injustice, and there are many battles that must be fought to change it. But one that I want you as a TC alum to fight for is the power that skillful teaching could offer as one tool in the mission for social justice. We know, for example, and now I'll be a little more hopeful with you, that having 3 skillful teachers in a row in elementary school versus having 3 in a row who are not skillful can make the difference between completing 5th grade in the top quartile in math achievement versus being in the bottom quartile in math achievement, all as a function of the compounded effect of who your teachers have been. We know that teachers who understand and can relate to their students' cultures and experience, and who can see and use their funds of knowledge, are much better at helping them learn. We know now that understanding academic content in specialized ways, not the ways typically taught in most university coursework, matters tremendously for being able to open up the disciplines to young people as they learn. And we know that children must have among their teachers adults who share identity with them, as well as those who can draw upon their identities in working sensitively with their students. We know that discipline practices are systematically enacted in culturally and racially biased ways, but we also do know how to support behavior effectively in culturally sensitive ways. Although we know these things, we continue to overlook the power of skillful teaching as a positive force in the campaign for social justice. And as we do that, we leave shamefully to chance the negative impacts of unskillful teaching. If the 74 million young people in our country would get good teaching every day of every one of their preschool and K-12 years, We really could be sitting here telling a different story 20 years from now, in 2035. As warriors for the cause of social justice in America and around the globe, you must rise to this challenge. Wherever you go, and wherever you take your skills, and whatever you be setting out to do. Speak up in the communities and institutions where you work about the power of teaching. Explain to other people that it has to be learned, that it's not a natural talent. Promote its development. Stand up and don't participate in interventions that take skillful teaching for granted or overlook it, or overlook what it takes to learn to do it. This agenda I'm talking to you about is about everybody's children, and it's about our future. I actually have a lot of hope about what we could do, and I have a lot of hope when I look out at you, graduating from one of the premier education institutions in our country. I'm so honored to be here with you, and you fill me with hope. But I am asking a lot of you. The evidence is clear, and I don't want that we be having the same conversation 10 years from now, or that someone else is having that same conversation with our successors. The order for social justice in this country is long, tall, and overdue. Just remember that among the resources for societal change is the power of teaching. Today, I salute you enthusiastically for your achievements. I look forward to your help in advancing social justice and in deploying the power of teaching as a force in that agenda. The futures of the Vershans, Lakias, Marcos, and Annas in my classes and in millions of other classes in our country depend on that. The future of our society depends on it. So, that's my ask. Today and tonight, and maybe even tomorrow, celebrate. You have a great deal to be proud of, and you should mark this occasion with great pride and festivity. But by the day after tomorrow, I'm looking forward to all you will accomplish to advance education and social justice for our nation's most vital resource, the young people who are the future of our society. Congratulations.